is January 21st, second council meeting of 2025. We are getting started. Good evening, everyone. Keith, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Blankenship. Joseph.
Here.
Ginsmore.
Here.
Steiner here. Godwin.
Here.
Clackler.
Here.
Yeah, Ross called me. He had another appointment he had to attend to, so he won't be here tonight. All right. Do we have a motion for the approval of minutes?
So moved. Second.
All right. Any questions, comments, anything noticed on the minutes you'd like to point out? Call for the vote.
Clackler.
Aye.
Godwin.
Aye.
Steiner. Abstain. Ginsmore.
Aye.
Joseph.
Aye.
Blankenship. Motion passes.
Thank you. It's been a cold day. Election of President of Council. Do we have a nomination?
I nominate we keep Matt Steiner as president.
Second that.
Okay. Any other nominations? Any questions for our impending, Matt, are you interested in the job?
I will maintain.
Okay, call for the vote.
I thought that was a dangerous question myself.
It is, but it has to be asked. And somebody has to do it.
Ginsmore.
Aye.
Rita. Joseph.
Aye.
Blankenship. Steiner. Yay. Godwin.
Aye.
Clackler.
Aye.
In a nomination for Vice President of Council.
You shake your head
Maybe
no?
there's some history. Can I get some history? We didn't always have a VP.
No.
What's the reason behind that?
Well, it's been in place since, it was put in place, Al Knack was still the mayor at the time.
And the President of Council at that time had an extended leave, so they decided to create a Vice President of Council. And then that has not been the case since, but you never know, it could happen. And this actually come in very handy at times that our current President of Council is out and our fiscal officer is out. Vice President has been able to take over and do some of the duties during that time.
We've used it for several times throughout the years. Also, there's because in our ordinances, like if you weren't available to sign checks, then the vice president could sign checks.
Okay.
That type of thing. So, I mean, it's been in place for quite a few years.
Sounds like we're better to have it than not have it.
So is the vice president authorized?
No, I don't believe so. I don't think signing checks is unless her name's on the. Is your name on this? It might. If it is, it's a coincidence. It's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't. The reason we didn't move it was because at the time, and another person on the finance committee was still able to sign checks. That was our failing as a council.
Another person on the committee.
Ellen was able, because she was on finance, she was still able to sign checks. Once she stepped down, we neglected to get somebody else to have the authority because the mayor is only supposed to sign checks.
I don't remember us ever really making that.
It's in the ordinances.
So we don't have a second person. I thought that was taken care of. So if it hasn't been, we need to get a second person on that thing to sign. In fact, there's several things that have happened. One of them is I've asked, since we have a firm for, normally our fiscal officer is one person, and then there's usually three people could sign the other signature. There's a time that because we have a firm, Leah being out, it's a firm, I've asked if she gets somebody else from her office that can also be a second person for her position to sign, but we really need to have that second person from ours. So if that's not the case, if we don't have that yet, and Jan, I don't know if you're on finance or not, or Matt, if you have another recommendation, but we need to get somebody a signature on that.
All right. Well, we need to look at the ordinances first and follow them, and it really is going to be, really should wait until after the committees are selected
Yeah.
So I made a note on unfinished business about check signing, so we'll confirm all that.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so we had
We're
a
on
nomination.
Vice President.
We're on Vice President. Okay, you had the question, still no nomination.
She's over there shaking.
Marissa.
You're nominating Marissa? You accept?
Do we
Sure.
have a second?
Don't even.
Okay. Any questions for our selective, can't think of the right word. Selective nominee? Okay, are there any other nominations? With that, call for the vote.
Steiner, aye. Godwin,
Aye.
Clackler,
Aye.
Joseph,
Aye.
Ginsmore,
Aye.
Blankenship.
All right. Next, move on to unfinished business.
So the things we have on unfinished business is signage, which was the donation from the church. To my knowledge, we haven't done any more checking on that, so I'll help push that before the next meeting. The second item is playground equipment. If you look in your packet, they have some examples of what the quote that we approved, and then there's some examples of what's coming from the playground equipment itself to what type of mulch we're getting. So all of that is in motion for this spring. I know some residents have been asking on social media about the playground equipment, so it's in our packet so that we can let people know that we are moving forward with that.
And I remember at one point we applied for a grant for this and it's denied. Did we get a grant for what's coming up, or is this we're just, because our equipment is really in need of being replaced?
Yeah, I don't think we did get the grant approved.
I didn't think so either.
There were some citizens talking about if we couldn't, the village couldn't figure out how to do it, to try to do fundraisers. But that hasn't come to fruition
Yeah, I
yet.
think that goes
But
to our sign, right? We can start communicating better with residents. And I think too, we need to probably do a better job on social media. If we're not getting traffic at our site, maybe we need to post on Clinton Village Talk and reference our Facebook. And this could be a perfect example if somebody would take it on to kind of post what we're doing here.
Well, if we post it on our official village site, and then, like you said, just reference it.
Yeah, we could post it on our site and share it on their site.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Because you don't want to start, like, it's not a good idea for government officials to banter back and forth on.
Not what I'm saying.
I understand that, but that's it's a sticky slope sometimes. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
So if you just post it on both, we're fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think if we post it on ours and share with theirs, because it gets people, there's a lot of people that don't even know we have a site.
Right.
So if we could start doing that on a regular basis, people may join and they're going to be aware of us having our own site, use it as a resource as we post more things.
Right.
Okay. The people that watch online,
They
have to go to our site, and
Not everybody does watch, so that's why we would post on
I mean, there's a lot of people who don't know we exist on Facebook, but I gotta tell you, I've been surprised looking at the numbers of views that we get for this council meeting. It's really quite amazing. I expect to be 2 or 3 and sometimes 250. which could be the same person watching a lot, but still, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of the same people.
If there's 200 from people who are looking at that site, they know that we have it.
Right.
That's a good,
But,
that's a good.
Now, on retrospect, I believe that Sue does have access to post on our Facebook, so this would be something that if she could put a blurb in there every now and then for, something like this going on.
Is this the only company that we had a quote from?
No, I think we got multiple quotes. This is the one we voted on. That would be a better question of Leah.
Any other unfinished?
Can I get a volunteer to post this on?
Yeah, post the whole
Just-
thing?
No, not just the fact that we're moving forward with playground equipment.
Yeah, I have.
And maybe if you can find a screenshot like this online and put a picture with it or something, dress it up a little bit,
I can take a picture of it.
we'll get excited. That is it for unfinished business. Moving on to mayor's communications.
Well, before we do that, Matt, is there anybody else who might have unfinished business? Okay, moving on to mayor's communication. Thank you. Mayor's communications. I really don't have a lot. The same two issues that I had last meeting. I did talk to the police chief. Since then, he's still not heard back from the Summit County engineer regarding this intersection down here, what we can and can't do there. The other thing I did mention last meeting about the stop signs, people not stopping. My latest pet peeve is one up here by Nimisila and Van Buren. I just talked to a resident tonight. Her complaint's the same. There's been speeding along there, and and also people are not stopping at stop signs. It can be very dangerous. So we've also reported a light out up there, and it's not getting resolved. So I'll get with Sue on Thursday about that, see if she can get back to the Edison. I know she did this several weeks ago, and for some reason things are not getting done. Yeah, street light.
The one down, mine is good, but the next one back in town, was pink for a long time, showed way down like this, all wrong. And, then it's off, turns off.
Okay.
And turns back on. And I called the neighbor, we talked, and I told him that he needs to get the tag and read the number off of that pole. And I thought he might have called somebody up here at the town hall and said something. Maybe he hasn't gotten
That's the utilities chair job.
but who is it supposed to do that? That was what,
Well,
that's an assignment for one of the groups that,
That's the utility chair's job, always was, has been before.
yeah, chair.
I did it when I was the utilities chair. I drove around
so that's who should be
and
doing it.
got all the
They should be
numbers.
checking,
Louis
that's the
Rash
thing.
did it when he was the utility chair. You drive around, you see a light out, you get out of your car, you get the number, you report it. That's always been
I
the way.
advised him to call the town
Yeah.
hall,
Yeah,
give the number.
Yeah, and Sue can do it too, but it really, it's not her job to do it.
Wasn't set up for that as well just recently?
We requested that the link to report it was posted on our village page.
And it is.
Okay.
It's on the website, but again, there is
And then we were-
a council person in charge of that.
Yeah, that's his
But
committee.
as it stands right now, I mean, there's lots of ways to report it. It's easier to go online and do it directly to First Energy, I think, or if I don't know what the site is. You can do it to our site. You can call our in the office here. There's lots of ways to report if you have an outage. So anyways, that's all I have for my communication. It's been a very slow beginning of the year, but I'm sure it'll pick up. Moving on, council communications and council committee reports.
Pass that to Marissa, please.
Okay, here you go.
Oh, are these the?
Those
These are
are
the ones that
applicants
were
that
in
we'll
the-
ask about later here for
what-
fire.
Oh, they're the same ones that we were looking at before, right?
Mhm.
Okay, I've seen this.
Okay.
Did you look at those?
I think those are complete with the background.
checks?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, council communications, council committee reports, anything from anybody?
Okay, now they still haven't come out with the published date for when the newsletter
Yeah,
come out?
For when
I
what?
think they're waiting to see who the committee chairs are. So at this time, I'm just gonna leave them the same as previously. There's no new council people, so we'll just leave it as is. Sue and I talked briefly about it. We seem to not adhere to that schedule real well, or we cancel it a lot. Maybe it's because we don't need meetings, but then there's times where we have meetings and we're putting it off to the date of the schedule. I'd like us to move to a as-needed, minimum once-a-year meeting schedule, and the committee chairs schedule them as needed. Because things come up throughout the year and we're like waiting on the schedule. That's how we did it when I was on council previously. I think that could be more effective for us.
Well, we passed an ordinance approving this regular scheduled
Okay.
thing, schedule.
Change
with,
if we need to.
well, I can, but if the purpose was that if there's already a meeting scheduled, you can plan for it. And it was always with the contingent that if there was something pressing before your meeting, was actually scheduled in the ordinances, that the chair can always, talk to his committee members and do a special meeting at any time. This was just because there weren't meetings being had. And so, I mean, it's in the ordinances. There's the schedule is always the same. It's right here. The standard, and
I
We
think
can
it's
just-
always a time constraining too with having it before the council meeting. We get here at 6, if it doesn't get started till 10 after, people start coming in the door when it's not so cold for the council meeting. And that, you really got a 20-minute, half-hour window to have a meeting. And to me, that's not a good committee meeting. Committee meetings are where the heavy lifting should happen. And I don't like the time constraint of the council meeting. It's just
Well, that's-
different.
We can discuss it in law and ordinance
well,
committee. We can discuss that and.
well, it's
figure out what-
already in the book. It's already in the ordinances. Like there was supposed to have a meeting today, but at 6 o'clock there was supposed to be a safety meeting, but I'd forgotten all about it and called Jan a little before 6 and said, "Hey, we having a meeting," and she's like, so I mean, I see good points to it, and if you need extra time, you could always, say let's change it and let's have it at 5:30. I like having the schedule so that there's always something to look forward to, and if you don't have anything to put on the schedule, you cancel the meeting. And then that's the way it was designed, and this was done in 2016.
Yeah, I remember when that went in, and I wasn't a big fan of it, but one thing that did come out of that, and I'm going to hit the pros and cons of it. Matt gave a lot of the cons of it. One of the pros, we actually did have more committee meetings with this in place. I'm still not a big fan of it. It's something that it was put in, and if you think about it, like last summer, we dropped down to one council meeting a month. It's kind of like an experiment. It didn't seem to work out like we thought it would. And this another one, I guess, be up to laws and ordinances to decide, did this work out like we thought it would? Should we get rid of it or should we keep it? So maybe next laws and ordinances committee, that can be discussed.
We will discuss it.
Yeah.
I put it on unfinished business as well, and
Okay.
if we can have a discussion amongst ourselves before the next meeting, maybe we can have a plan.
Okay.
Now, the other thing about it is that it also a regular scheduled zoning board of appeals every month, so that the people on that board knew to keep that day clear. And again, with the caveat that if there wasn't anything to be discussed, then the zoning inspector would let everybody know well enough in advance that.
It used to be on the schedule.
Right, it's every third.
Because when Tom Mayberry was in charge. We always had them,
Right.
whatever the schedule was. I don't know if it's
It's the
every
third
3 months.
the third Wednesday of every month.
Well, you can
Zoning-
keep that committee, that
Um,
zoning committee to have that third
That
Wednesday
wasn't
of
on a
every month.
Wednesday when I was,
For
Right. And the other
The
thing,
main-
rest of it,
no.
we'll have to,
planning was also another meeting that was put into the schedule as well. So that planning commission would have a regular rotation on the schedule. It was set up to go quarterly, or basically along those lines, not maybe quarterly, but, anyway, so.
Yeah,
Yep.
those are thoughts. One of the other things, glad you mentioned the zoning board of appeals. I spent 15 years on the zoning board of appeals, and on average, we had about 3 meetings a year. So I thought once a month, that's a good idea. However, I think more get canceled than get used. So as things come up, then we set a meeting aside, and that's how we did in the past. And so just some thoughts there. Of course, laws and ordinances would have to consider all their pros and cons. Any other council communications committee reports?
Yes, I have a question. I
Yes.
know there's some things on social media about speeding and other things. I know we have our committee meetings, and we talk about maybe speed tables, speed bumps and everything. That's kind of handled at the committee meeting. I just want to let everybody know that we're looking into it. I know there was an issue this past week. Somebody passed somebody speeding and drove into somebody's front yard here in the village. So I'm aware of it. I want to talk about speed tables and things at our next committee meeting.
Okay, yeah. Sounds good, thank you. Yeah, we get that in here. It sort of like has patterns. We'll get some people, a lot of people complain of speeding. We'll have the police do extra radar. Then we don't have as many complaints for a while. Then getting to relax, and the speeding goes up again. But yeah, that is definitely something I complained. I was talking to somebody tonight complaining about the speeding coming down Van Buren, which is not one I'd heard before. Usually the speeding is on Cleve Maslin is our main drag way, but I'm sure any place where there's enough of a straight line, you'll have people stepping on the gas heavier than they should.
All right.
And this is not the weather anybody wants to slide off the road in, so keep your speed down. Any other, it says, council communication, council committee reports. Okay, citizen comments, there are none. Resolutions and ordinances.
all right. First reading, resolution number R-25-2. A resolution authorizing all actions necessary to accept Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, NOPEC, 2025 Energize Community Grant, and declaring it an emergency. Second reading, ordinance number O-25-01, an ordinance amending ordinance number O-23-26, establishing the pay rates for certain employees, effective January 1st, 2025, and declaring an emergency. And no third readings.
Okay, new business.
So I was actually looking at the scheduled committee report, the committees and that today. And we have so far, there's not been anything scheduled in the spring to vote on, but that can change. Sometimes they have the special election in May for certain things. So far, there's nothing that affects Clinton at this point. That could change. However, the November election is on Tuesday, November 4th. So at this time, I would like to reschedule our meeting for the November 4th, 2025 to suggest that we have it on Thursday, November 6th, 2025, because we can't be here
Is there a
during
second?
voting.
Second.
Okay, are you also aware that I think it's in a few months earlier, I forget what's August or September, there's also a voting day in Ohio this year.
But I don't know that
Yeah, I don't know if we have anything special on there.
If we have one.
Mhm.
This is the only one I know for sure. So I
Okay,
figured
all
let's
right.
get it taken care of, and then, I I looked, but I didn't see that we were involved, but
Okay.
that, I don't know that for sure. I was gonna
All right.
talk to Leah about it. But anyway, that's,
Okay, we have a motion to move the November 4th meeting to November 6th. Do we have a second?
we did.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Any other discussion, questions? Let's call for the vote.
Again, a motion to move our regularly scheduled council meeting from November 4th to November 6th. Jan,
Aye.
Clackler,
Aye.
Steiner, aye. Ginsmore,
Aye.
Joseph,
Aye.
Blankenship.
Any other new business?
And that would also move a committee meeting that would be scheduled to that day as well,
Mhm.
to the November 6th.
Any other new business? Council general discussion.
New business.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. Rita, you may have those. Can I get these applications, please? Without Wayne being here, I think last meeting, he wasn't fully prepared to present these firemen, but we would like to present these guys and get them approved for hire for the fire department. First is Mark Miller. There's his criminal record or criminal history came back. There's no convictions on file. And then you guys have probably looked through the applications. He's got a pretty lengthy resume here, and all of it related to medical response and fire. So that's Mark Miller. We've got another one, Paul Wygand. His criminal came back clean as well, no convictions. And noteworthy on here is Stark State, and Stark State is where they have fire training, so that's probably where he came from. We pay for some of our guys to go there. And then last but not least is Leland O'Brien. Came back as no convictions, and similar from the Stark State program. So if we could get a motion to approve these three.
I make a motion that we approve the hiring of Leland O'Brien, Mark Miller, and Paul Wygant to our fire department.
I'll second the motion.
Any questions, comments? Call for the vote.
Blankenship, Joseph,
Aye.
Ginsmore,
Aye.
Steiner, aye. Godwin,
Aye.
Clackler.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right. Now to the council general discussion. You all look like you're dressed for winter time tonight. I went out this morning, my car had I think it was -3, and then it bumped up to 0.1, went back down to -1 by the time I got to my destination. Tomorrow it's gonna be negative double digits, I believe, -10, -12, -14. Auction time, let's see how low we can go. But stay warm. All right, presentation of purchase orders and bills for approval. Hey, Matt,
Mayor.
wait a minute. We forgot something.
Oh, yeah.
Back to new
Thank
business.
you. Back to new business. We received a while back, we approved American Legal to go through our laws and ordinances and essentially recodify. So those have come back to us. We had a pretty lengthy, it's a 50-page report here on changes that are recommended by American Legal. They did give us a date of February 10th. I'm not sure how hard a date that is since it's us doing our own ordinances, but Rita and I met and we went through a lot of this. A lot of it is referencing our ordinance against the ORC, and then a lot of it is questions for our solicitor. When we look at completing this project, it's going to be time consuming. I wouldn't expect Rita to do it. I'm not anticipating myself doing it. When I look at who else in the village may, Sue is busy doing her own job, and I don't think any of us are proficient at referencing these different places to do that. And then when you take the third part that I said, where they ask us to get in touch with the solicitor. So it's an additional expense, but I'm recommending the council that we let the solicitor answer these differences between ours and what American Legal's recommending. And I've talked to Seth about it. He's aware that we're talking about it tonight, but we're in a position where we can do that from an expense standpoint. And since my time on council, I'm aware of 3 times where we've recodified the ordinances.
I was gonna say, when did we do this the last time?
Right.
Well, it's not really recodifying, it's just updating it. And
Correct. But
this should be.
we missed the
laws and
updates
ordinance.
with the last company we had. That's why it's so lengthy this time.
Right.
But I guess my point is, I am most comfortable with Seth doing this. And we can put that in the form of a motion if we want.
For those of you who are, this is copied front and back that Sue made for me. The one that we arrived was one side only. But as you go through this, there's a lot of more questions than answers. There's it references one of our codes. It says this section of this code does not match this section. Do you have a reference to when this issue was passed? And there's so many questions then, and that many pages that, yes, when I started reading this, Matt and I came to the exact same conclusion that this is not something for any of us to, it's great. I think all of us should read it, but I don't think any of us are qualified to actually go through and answer all the questions, make all the adjustments, to make it so that it comes out as it should be legally.
And I anticipate once Seth goes through it, he'll come back with us, maybe in layman's form, on how we want to do this.
Right.
Because there'll be some contradictions in here. So I guess I'm looking for recommendations on how best to do this. Should I put this in the form of a motion?
Before a motion to turn this over to Seth for review might be the best route to go.
Okay.
I'd make that motion for Seth to look at that. To look at the,
And then I'll second Rita's motion.
Any questions, comments?
It'd be nice if the Laws and Ordinance Committee would look through it.
They already have.
we did.
Yeah.
And this is our recommendation.
Did you look through it? Because you're on Laws and Ordinances, aren't you? Who else is on Laws and Ordinances? I thought it was.
It's Rita, myself, and
And Keith, right? Is it Keith?
No.
No, Jan? I don't know.
it would be Keith.
Keith,
Oh, it's
yeah.
Keith.
Yeah.
Okay.
But back to Matt's point, I don't think any of us,
I don't have a law degree.
I don't either. So that's,
Yeah.
I mean, even if I would look at it, I'm not a lawyer or an attorney.
Yeah. I would rather Seth take care of it.
Okay, we have a motion on the table?
I second that motion.
Yes. Call for the vote?
And we'll get there. Hang on. I don't know shorthand.
You gotta learn.
Clackler.
Aye.
Jan.
Aye.
Steiner. Yay. Ginsmore.
Abstain.
And then Joseph.
Aye.
Motion passes. Now under presentation of purchase orders and bills for approval.
Thank you for remembering, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Let me get my bearings. So we had this is for pay period from 1/8 to 1/21, kind of a lower than usual, billing period. Bills total $34,802. Nothing really in particular stands out. The only thing I would say is we've got, South Summit Council of Governments at 2,900. And I think that has to do, and then the other one I'll point out, Summit Soil and Water Conservation District. I don't know how that's different than the MS4 that we just set up, so I need to find out a little more about that. I don't know if anybody else knows anything about that.
Shall we get it with our engineer on that and see what the difference is?
I can do that.
Okay, sounds good.
With that said, I'm looking for a motion to approve the bills for $34,802.
Well, I have a question.
Okay,
What is the Cargill Incorporated
salt.
salt? Okay.
We're looking for a motion.
I motion that Matt pays the bills.
Second.
All right. A call for the vote.
Joseph,
Aye.
Clackler,
Aye.
Ginsmore,
Aye.
Steiner, aye. Godwin,
Aye.
Blankenship. Okay.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Could have kept the engine running.
Right?
Almost.